So this is my testimony. This is the first song that I wrote really with a science of mind way of looking at things, and I did this when I took my first foundations class about how many years ago? Something like that many years ago, roughly. And anyway, here it goes. Yes, I know that God is all there is, but I admit sometimes the trouble is to see myself part of that sacred place and to reach deep in my soul and feel God's perfect grace. But I'm getting closer every day. All that I feel and think and say, I may not always know the way, but I know I'm getting closer every day. Yes, I know that God is everything, and that is why I gotta stand up here and sing about a life that I want so much to live. When I know deep in my soul I got a lot more to give, but I'm getting closer every day. All that I feel and I think and I say, I may not always know the way, but I know I'm getting closer every day. And when I get out of my way, I get as big as the sun, 'cause then I know there's a room for everyone. Yes, I know that God says yes, and that a God I know will never make me guess. So here I stand, arms open to receive, 'cause I know deep in my soul it's done as I believe. As I'm getting closer every day, all that I feel and think and say, I may not always know the way, but I know I'm getting closer every day. 'Cause I'm getting closer every day. All that I feel and think and say, I may not always know the way, but I know I'm getting closer. Yes, I know, a little bit closer. I'm taking baby steps, but I'm closer today.
Hey guys, up! Yes, that's right, and that's Imaginators. All right? Hey, come on, let's get up and dance. What's wrong with you guys? I will. And they'll go, no, don't do that.
Oh, there's another song you're going to dance to right now. So, Imaginator. I don't know what it is either. I thought that was a wonderful idea. And so not knowing what it is, I decided I had to write a song about it. And, that's the cool thing about someone telling you, well, here's the theme, Imaginator. What is it? We get to decide what that is, right? So, and because we have, a lot of individuals here, it can sort of be, I guess, a different thing to everybody. And it can also be the thing that you create yourself, because that's what imagination is. Hey, hey, hey!
Hey, hey!
I'm a creator.
I'm a creator.
Every night and every day, the Imaginator. I said, hey, hey, hey!
Hey, hey, hey!
I'm a creator.
I'm a creator.
Every night and every day, the Imaginator. I am a painter. Life is my canvas. I am a sculptor. And God says, chisel and paint your masterpiece. Sing and dance and take a chance. Treat and move your feet. And dream. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey!
I'm a creator.
I'm a creator.
Every night and every day, the Imaginator.
Imaginator.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey!
I'm a creator. Every night and every day, the Imaginator.
Imaginator.
I am the Imaginator. I am the Imaginator. I am the Imaginator. Here we go now. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey!
I'm a creator.
I'm a creator.
Every night and every day, the Imaginator.
Imaginator.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey!
I'm a creator. Every night and every day, the Imaginator.
Imaginator. Woo-hoo!
When they learn that song? They learn that song right now. Are they good or what? Thank you. I will be back.
See, this continues to be revealed. You see, I think this is very cool. So, therefore, I didn't even have time to put it on my nifty tablet. So, one of the things that I love about the science of mind is that it explains how life gets to be the way it is. And in fact, the first year of practitioner studies, that's the title of it, How Life Got to Be the Way It Is. And I'm teaching Beyond Limits right now, and it's so much fun to go back to basics. I think it's really important to do that sometimes, just to remember what makes science of mind and new thought different from other teachings that are out there. And I've said many times that our movement is going through some growing pains right now, trying to decide who we are and what we stand for, and are we social activists, and are we this, and are we that. And I think those are all very important questions to ask, because once again, what Ernest Holmes tells us is that life is forever and ever expanding. And so the fact that our leadership is still evolving, I think, is a good thing. And we are still evolving as a center. I find it interesting sometimes, and frustrating once in a while, that God's timing and my timing don't agree. You see, God did not get the memo that this month is our Way of the Heart growth and prosperity campaign. God didn't get that memo because normally the way these types of campaigns are supposed to work is that your leadership presents to you a compelling vision of where we are going and what's in store for us. And then the intention is for people to go, yeah, sign me up for that, and I want to support that vision financially. Well, you know what you're signing up for this year? You're signing up for the ride. You're signing up for possibility. We're not there yet to create a super compelling, focused vision. And that's okay. It starts with the covenant. In the beginning was the Word. But the Word must ultimately take form. And so what I say to everyone now is that I'm excited about the possibilities that are before us. The possibilities that began to germinate with the words of our sacred covenant. Now, if you've been in Science of Mind for any period of time, you know about our teaching symbol. And you know that the top, it's divided into thirds, and the top part is the place where inspiration happens. The middle part is where the inspiration meets the creative medium that then together produce outward form and experience. And that when we engage in practices such as prayer and meditation, study, service, we are keeping ourselves in the flow. We are taught that we can consciously direct the flow of our lives. We are always at choice. Now, anyone who's an artist of any kind, and I get a kick out of the people who say, oh, no, not me, I'm not creative. Every single person in this room is creative. I guarantee it. Whether you are a musician, whether you are a decorator, whether you are a writer, and there's a few of us in there, whether you are a sculptor or a painter or an architect or an engineer, we are all creative. And when we look at something and we experience something that really inspires us, and again, I'm so grateful that we live in a world of infinite possibilities and infinite tastes, because we all receive our inspiration in different ways, and we all have the opportunity to be inspirational ourselves in our own ways. So whether you are a decorator or a musician or any thing that you would consider, any activity you would consider to be creative, it always starts with an idea. Always. Oh, cooking, I'm sorry, thank you. That is, and you know, it's how many people that are like really into the cooking thing, just to use the recipe, that's a drag. Boring. So what they want to do is they want to add their own little secret ingredient or modify it in some way to make it uniquely theirs. But it starts with an idea. But it's more than an idea. There is an image of some way, shape, or form. At some level, you have a sense of what the end product is. Now, I said sense, and I said that deliberately, because what goes in the space between is the creative process. There is an idea, there is a sense, and then the process begins. And what's interesting, and the reason that I use Imaginator, is because we, as metaphysicians and practitioners of New Thought and the science of mind and spirit, we know that there is something beyond us. Oftentimes, people who are doing creative things, they are operating from a place of just all being in their head. What we know as metaphysicians is that there is an infinite intelligence that is always available to us that we get to tap into. And that's what makes us more than just creators. We are imaginators because we are tapping in to a higher intelligence that expresses and sees in ways sometimes just outside our three-dimensional definition of things. So the idea and the sense is the inspiration, and then moves into creative medium. Now, one of the things about being imaginator is you are about being. You're not about doing. An imaginator is something that you are, not something that you do. And I'll give you a perfect example of that from my own life. While I was working in television, I had three functions over the years. I started out as a writer, and from there I got into producing. And then downstream, when editing became something you could do on the computer, digital nonlinear editing, I learned that process as well. And there was a name for that. There was a time in the late 90s, early 2000s, where there was a belief that, hey, you can be a writer, a producer, and an editor. So there was a name for that, a predator. Just saying. And it's true. It's true. Now, I had a problem with that. And it took me a long time to figure out what the problem was. Because I'm a good writer. And I was a good producer. I mean, I am. I'm just not doing it actively. I'm doing it another way. You know, I won an Emmy Award, right? And I'm not just saying this to, I'm just saying it as outward demonstration that I was good at what I did. And I was a good editor. Once I got up to speed and learned the technology and got to use it a lot, I was pretty good. I wasn't, at the level of the folks that are doing regular work in the industry, but for the type of work I was doing, I did all right. I was a crappy predator, and I'll tell you why. Because if you are trying to do all three functions, here's what would happen to me. Be sitting with an idea, like, oh yeah, this is great, yeah. Uh-oh, how am I going to do this? And so I let the part of me that was going to have to execute it get in the way of the part of me that was trying to create it. So if I was just acting as a writer-producer, no problem, because what I knew is that I didn't have to worry about how it got done. Now, in the grandest sense, and I got to do this sometimes, is in a larger production, you have all the creative and you storyboard it out, and then you hand it over to a director and a production designer, and they get to worry about how to execute the things that use your vision. You are the creator. You get to just have the ideas and the inspiration without having to worry about how the heck am I going to do that. Likewise, if I were an editor and someone came into me with a script, no problem. Because my focus at that point was on the technical execution of what was put in front of me. And I was good at that. But what I was not good at was coming up with really inspired, out-of-the-box ideas, because the little voice in the behind my head says, you don't know how to do that. Oops. All right, let's modify this down to something that I know how to do. As an imaginator, you are being. And this is kind of how I see it. Because as a religious scientist, student of metaphysics, we know that there is something greater than we are. Not only do we know, or as Ernest Holmes says, there's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, that I am, and that you can use it. Now, it's not to say that some artists aren't aware of that. I'm not saying that at all, because many are. However, because we are practitioners of the science of mind and spirit, we have the opportunity to consciously connect, to say yes. And so you have this infinite intelligence of the universe that has inspirations. I don't even know how to describe it. Stuff that might not easily translate into a three-dimensional world, which is what we live in, folks. Are there other things? I believe there are, but we're not there yet. What I believe an imaginator is we are the ones that we connect and we become instruments. We are the instruments by which some complex ideas and complex stuff is translated to begin the process of it happening on Earth. We are instruments. Once again, we are not the least bit concerned about how it happens. We are simply a vessel, a channel, opening to the infinite intelligence that we know and believe is there, and just saying yes. And when we say yes, because we are practitioners of the science of mind and spirit, we then consciously can take this and consciously plant the seed into the creative medium through a process that we call spiritual mind treatment. And again, when we do spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, we give no concern whatsoever about the how. And that's where some of us get messed up, is that we ask for it, and we want it done, and we know how it's supposed to get done and when it's supposed to get done. You know, and God's got a different idea. And what I have found is that even though sometimes I get really frustrated, invariably, always, the way it unfolds is better than I could have thought of. And that is why I am an imaginator. Because I receive the inspiration, and when I am acting as an imaginator, I am being a channel and a vessel for something outside of my three-dimensional realm, bringing it into three-dimensional thought, and then planting a seed that will take on form and experience. I don't know why, I don't know how. And I may not even have full idea about what the end result was. And that's what's been fun about the playing with the concept of an imaginator. What is an imaginator? Well, I don't know for sure. It's being revealed. And so I gave that idea to Gary. He did a song, you know. This afternoon, some of us, please come over to the office and play with me, as we are doing a dance with the divine as part of beginning to take these words that were a result of spiritual practice, these words, these ideas, these aspirations, and turning them into inspirations. Ernest Holmes has a concept that all beginning students of the science of mind have heard of, and it's called mental equivalent. And I know that sometimes that is a little bit of a difficult concept. It sounds, like really heady and really kind of, what the heck is this sort of thing? That's what we as imaginators are doing. Mental equivalent is the space in consciousness that knows that the possibility exists, that has a sense of what it could look like without being attached to exactly how it shows up. The example that gets used a lot, and the one that probably more people struggle and wrestle with, is the idea that in one's experience right now, one could be experiencing financial lack. And that's real. That is a real experience. However, it is not the real truth. And we sit and go, yeah, well, that's really nice, and my rent is due tomorrow, and the rent is X, my bank account is Y, and they don't quite agree. So tell me more about that. And that's a tough one. It's probably one of the tougher ones. I think health is the other one that is real hard to, it's like, well, hey, look, I feel like crap, and I'm supposed to be perfect, whole, and complete. Really? What I know in my life is that I know that the details are unfolding. And you know what? I may not be able to pay my rent. That doesn't mean that I'm going to get thrown out of my place. It doesn't mean anything necessarily negative. Something else may happen. Maybe the landlord shows some compassion. I mean, there's all kinds of maybes. And so the trust is in the possibility of this unfolding in a favorable way, because it is possible. Problem is, sometimes we get way too attached to what that needs to look like. And so some people say, a lot in the 12-step program, fake it till you make it. And those who know me know I hate that term, because to me, to be fake is to be disingenuous, is to not be in truth. So I more like the idea of acting as if, because acting as if is when I am acting believing what the truth is. So in the case of the rent, and the rent and the bank account don't agree, then what I do is I say, I do not know how this resolves, and I trust life. I know that the universe, this is me, I know that the universe is weighted in my favor. And so I can move forward even though it looks awful, even though it's painful or challenging. I can at least put one foot forward simply because I know there is something working itself out. I can't see it yet, and I'm okay with that. And that's my definition of acting as if, is trusting in the truth and choosing based on what is really true as opposed to what the appearance is. Ernest Holmes says we never deny the experience. We only deny its power. So we never say that this stuff isn't happening. We simply say that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are that is working on this, and I have no idea, in many cases, how that plays out. And I know, because of my life experience, that it does. I just want to give you an example of the idea of the universe having an awareness of something that needs a little bit of translation, and that's where we get to be the translators. How many saw the movie Contact? And remember when she goes through the wormhole, right? Jodie Foster's character, and she comes upon this galactic phenomenon. And she's looking at it as the scientist that she is, and she is completely overwhelmed. And what does she say? They should have sent a poet. Because this was so ginormous that she could not wrap herself around it. We're the poets. We're the musicians. We're the artists. And we're imaginators because we aren't having it start here. We are consciously letting it start somewhere else so that we become a vehicle. We are not the initiator, we are the imaginator. And so that is the process that we are engaging in moving forward with our center, as we are going to be imaginators, opening up to an idea that transcends what we have in our heads. And we get to say yes to that. So who wants to play with me? All right. And I'll just let Gary seal the deal here.
So first things first, as the imaginator in my own experience, I think it'll work fine. Okay. I'm way too far away. I got to be down with you guys down here. I got to piggyback on what you were saying. I mean, that's it. That's what we're all doing. That's what we're all here to do. I'm an actor besides being a musician, and for many years I studied acting, still am. And one of the things that we talk about is that very phrase. And I know that you probably know that as much from Science of Mind as you do from the entertainment industry. Act as if. And it isn't make-believe. It's not pretend. It's real. Because if you have an experience and you want to have a different experience, so start having it. How do you do that? Anybody know the Edwene Gaines story? You ever told the Edwene Gaines? You know who Edwene Gaines is? Some of you know who. She's one of the most well-known Science of Mind prosperity creators. And she tells a quick story, and she tells it a lot slower than this, but I'll tell it quickly. She was broke. She lived in the South, and she was as broke as a church mouse, and she had kids and didn't know what she was going to do. And somebody, I don't know where she got the idea to do this, but she said, "Well, I have to start acting like rich people in order to bring in money into my life. I have to act as if I have it, because how do I know how to hold it if I don't even know what the experience of it is?" And so so what do rich people do? Well, they have swimming pools. Okay, I don't have a swimming pool. Yeah, but there's a hotel nearby, and they have one. And you can walk in. You don't have to get a room. I can just walk in, go through the lobby, and go into the back where the pool is. And so she put a bathing suit on, and she had a little plastic martini glass, and she filled it up with whatever she had to drink. And she put her towel on, and she put her flip-flops on, and she walked into the hotel lobby, and everybody thought, oh, yeah, she must be a guest. She's dressed up in a bikini, and she's going to the pool. And she laid down and said, yeah, this is what it feels like. Okay, this is a start. So we talk about how do we do that? How do we change our way of thinking? Act as if. She acted as if. She put on the costume, and she got out there, and she acted as if she was rich. So this is, I guess, my act as if song. I was hiding out on the streets of nowhere for what seemed like forever. In spite of every good thing that came along, I thought my life would never get better. Till I made a choice to shake off my troubles, see the world's riches all laid out for me. Spirit opened my eyes, happiness doubled, the highway is open and free. All the lies they tell on the streets of nowhere, they just don't ring true. All the junk I used to let inside my head, I'm making room for something new. 'Cause I've made a choice to shake off my troubles, see the world's riches all laid out for me. Spirit opened my eyes, my happiness doubled, the highway is open and free. I left my baggage back on the streets of nowhere. Now I'm traveling light. Yes, I'm traveling light on the road to now here. Well, there's a lot of trash talking on the streets of nowhere, but I am turning off my ears, 'cause I'm leaving my old stories in the past, and I am shaking off my fears, 'cause I've made a choice to shake off my troubles, see the world's riches all laid out for me. Spirit opened my eyes, my happiness more than doubled, the highway is open and free, free, open and free, open and free, open and free, open and free. Thank you. Yeah, baby. So I lived. We were talking earlier about Los Angeles and the entertainment industry. Reverend Robin and I, and spent 12 years in Los Angeles. And the thing that finally got me out of there was in Los Angeles. Yes means maybe. Maybe means no. And no one ever says no.
Yes, they do.
Well, they say no, but indirectly, because the no is they used to take my phone calls and now they won't take my phone calls anymore, or they don't call back when they said they would, or they don't show up when they said they would, and all those things that they said, oh yeah, we're going to put that together, yeah, we'll do that, yeah, that's going to happen, and then when it doesn't happen, that's the no. And so we had a big one of those, my wife and I. You think your ship has come in, and then you realize it's a canoe that's got a lot of holes underneath the bottom. And so that means something. And so what can I do with that? And so what we did is we left that place. But the thing that actually got us to leave was the mountain behind our house burned twice over the course of 5 weeks. And one was the big Silmar fire in 2009 or 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. And so we're sitting in our little car with our 2 dogs and all of our belongings, wondering if our house is going to burn down. And we said, maybe we ought to go somewhere else and just see what's happening. Maybe that's what our lesson is. Maybe that's what we need to take, because we could have looked at that 1,000 ways, and we looked at every way imaginable. And so the way that we looked at it was, there's something else to consider. There's something that we don't know. And as I've heard many times, it's all good in the end, which means if it's not good, it's not the end.
Amen.
Driving down the 101, it's a state of mind. I'm heading west into the sun, I think I go blind. Every driver on the road is giving me the evil eye. My blood is rising steady, my fingers getting ready to fly. So breathe in, breathe out. Me and God gonna work it all out. I breathe in, I breathe out, everything is fine. In your mind, it's all inside your mind. But you can change that mind, the science of your mind. Living in the world is burning a hole in my brain. Something happens every day to drive a man or woman insane. Provocateurs are talking, everybody's ready to fight. The economy is dire, the mountains are on fire tonight. So breathe in, breathe out. Me and God gonna work it all out. Breathe in, breathe out, everything is fine. In your mind, it's all inside your mind, but you can change your mind, the science of your mind. Oh yeah. All right, we're gonna bring it on down now. Bring it on down. Go on, take a deep breath. Yeah. On, just for the heck of it, take another deep breath. Now you got to remember, when you take a deep breath, it's a 2-part experience. Part 1 is, but you don't want to hold on to it very long. You want to kind of get rid of it and let it go. Take a... You want to start real low. Breathe kind of slow. I I'm looking at about 12 people and just holding their breath. They're going, okay, I can't, I don't want to breathe. Don't teach me how to breathe. I've been doing this my whole life. That's all right. It's all right. Move it up a little bit higher. Feel that breathing desire. Of course, we don't want to hyperventilate now. Oh, take a deep breath. Anybody know how to diaphragm breathe? There's no classes you have to take. Basically, if you're a human being, you know how to diaphragm breathe. Move it up a little bit higher. Don't you get too lazy. It's okay to breathe like you're going a little bit crazy. Oh, move it up higher. You want to move it up higher until you're breathing fire, because it's all in your mind. Keep breathing all the time. Breathe in, I'll breathe out. Me and God gonna work it all out. I'll breathe in, I'll breathe out. Everything is fine. So breathe in, breathe out. Me and God gonna work it all out. So breathe in, breathe out. Everything is fine. In your mind, it's all inside your mind. You can change your mind. The science of your mind. Oh yeah.